Really? Really, dude? All right. Dude, I didn't realize. Okay, cool. Hi. Welcome to the AEW review show. I'm bringing this motherfucker in because he didn't think his own. No. I'm leading. Guess what? I'm leading. So we're going to do things my way. I'm leading, so we're going to do things. I didn't tell you to play the intro. I didn't tell you to play the intro.
Oh man, you can't start the show without the intro, but this is
I can do whatever I want. I'm leading, remember?
This is exactly what AEW does. Dynamite these episodes every single blows up in your face.
I'm on that TNT circa 2019 production, dude. We're gonna have audio issues. We're gonna have all kinds of issues, don't you dare.
We already had audio issues for 1 minute and 19 seconds.
I'm really sorry that you gotta hear Chris's mouth. I'm sure that first minute of silence was great. I'm sure that you really loved that. But now we're gonna get into the real stuff.
They got to look at you. How happy are they?
I was reading stuff. If that's very happy for you.
And they were watching you read. I mean, considering someone who will watch AEW probably can't read anyway.
That's funny. Okay, cool. We're gonna move past that. So we got first Jon Moxley versus Carl Anderson under New Japan Pro Wrestling rules for the IWGP United States title. Jon Moxley's the current champion. We have Carl Anderson, who I like him, but I know some people raised the question, why exactly is he getting a title shot? I don't watch New Japan, so I cannot tell you why. But he got a title shot and he lost. Eddie Kingston came in early to take out Gallows because Gallows was trying to help. He wasn't really trying to hear that. And then Jon Moxley beat him with the DDT, and then he pinned him. Go ahead, exec. I'm leading, and I'm going to let you speak now.
Basically, what you're telling me is that you don't really have anything to add to this. So you want the executive consultant to tell you his thoughts, his opinions, and why this match was absolutely god-awful. First of all, Dean Ambrose, thank you. Hey, you know, if somebody from one dead body to the other, Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley, whatever you want to call yourself these days, I am proud of you for going out there shirtless and with that beautiful IWGP United States Championship, looking good. Carl Anderson, though, who is not bad in the ring, could definitely go in the ring. This match was just kind of thrown out of nowhere. Wasn't a fan of it. It was a solid match. Glad to see Dean Ambrose pick up the victory, but it did absolutely nothing for either one of these men, except for prove that Carl Anderson should not get a singles match. Shouldn't. What were you thinking?
Are you dumb, dude? The match was super. The crowd was super hot for this match. This match was meant to allow Jon Moxley to return because he hasn't been on Dynamite in a while. Certainly, he hasn't had a match in a while. Allow Jon Moxley to return. Allow for a Fyter Fest, a very special show. Allow to get another title match on that card, the IWGP title, which we know that Moxley has been the champ. What is it? Over 500 days now. It's record setting. And to let him get a win let him get a win over a New Japan name. He's Carl Anderson is known in Japan as the Machine Gun, I think. So yeah, the match was meant to be a fun match for the fans at a special show. It's meant to be a title match. It's meant to be for the. Go ahead.
You said this was a match with Carl Anderson, who's known as the Machine in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I thought I was watching All Elite Wrestling, which is a United States-based company.
Yeah.
Oh.
You are. I don't see what that has to do with anything.
Has everything to do with it. You're putting on a product for the Americans. You're putting on a product for the United States people. You're putting on a product.
So Americans don't like New Japan Pro Wrestling. So
they do, but why are you worried about New Japan Pro Wrestling?
New Japan didn't sell out.
You're worried about New Japan. You need to be
they're worried about Jon Moxley.
Particular department.
No,
nobody cares
they're worried about
Jon Moxley. Nobody
cares about Jon Moxley.
You gave him credit for winning the championship and being champion for 500 days. How many of those turn into title defenses?
I don't watch New Japan. I don't know.
Oh, but everybody cares about New Japan. It's all
no. I didn't say everybody cares about New Japan. I said.
What are you saying then? I'm a little lost.
I don't watch New Japan. Mm-hmm. But unlike you, I can separate facts from.
But when you came and tried to defend this match to me, your first thought was, your comment to me was, New Japan Pro Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling.
No, I said it's a New Japan Pro Wrestling title under New Japan Pro Wrestling rules. That's a fact.
It's AEW.
So what? It's Jon Moxley.
They have playing titles.
Jon Moxley. It's Jon
Dean
Moxley.
Ambrose.
Well, you're not wrong. Okay, I'm leading, so we're going to
Not
move
wrong.
on to Andrade El Idolo. And he said he's looking for the Death Triangle. He has permission to challenge for titles in any promotion. Whether that means he will actually be a champion anywhere, I don't know. Certainly not a champion in AEW, and I would not like to see that anytime soon. What say you, exec?
Of course, I don't want to see him as a champion anytime soon. He's never impressed me.
Andrade's never impressed you, ever? When he was with
Andrade
Vega?
is a big fish in this small company known as All Elite Wackness. But, I mean, when he was on Raw, he wasn't doing absolute
Andrade's
crap.
not even a big fish in AEW.
He is a big fish in AEW. That man's an instant future world champion.
Anybody is an instant future world. Jungle Boy is an instant future world champion.
Are we talking about Tarzan or are we talking about Dynamite? Because Jungle Boy is not future world champion. You lost your mind.
Are you? Oh, I lost my mind. Jungle Boy, one of their premier homegrown talents, is not a future world champion.
Just because you know how to create motion in the ring because you're so small you can get tossed around doesn't mean you're a future world champion.
No. See, you're separate. You can't separate emotion from fact. I don't care how you feel about his in-ring work. He's over, and he's a star, and he will be a future for them. He is a current star for them now, and he's a prodigy for them, and he's just going to continue to progress. He will be a future world champion.
So just because Jungle Boy is popular with the fans, you automatically think that entitles him to become a future world champion?
No, not that.
That's what you said.
Not that specifically.
But that's what you said. I only go by what you said, Miss Leader.
I said he's a star.
Doesn't mean that he's a future world champion.
Yeah,
Andrade is a future world champion. He has the look. He has the skills. He's a future AEW.
When I say that you are
champion.
A star, that doesn't mean that you're over. Being a star is the whole package. You can be over and not be a star. Freaking Scotty 2 Hotty was over. Scotty 2 Hotty wasn't a star.
And nor he is a future world champion. Never was he a future world champion. Neither is Jungle Boy. Thank you for proving my point.
Okay, so when Jungle Boy is the world champion, we're going to return to this VOD for two reasons. One, to see the silent 1 minute. One, to see the silent 1 minute. One, to see the silent 1 minute. And two, to see you be wrong. And I'm leading, so we're going to move on to Ricky Starks versus Brian Cage for the FTW title. This is the first time I can remember Brian Cage defending this title in a very long time. I would say we saw the split of Team Taz, but we really only saw Brian Cage split from them. We got the crowd kind of split because I know Team Taz is a heel faction. But half the crowd was chanting for Brian Cage, other half was chanting for Ricky Starks. The crowd was very, very hot for this match, even though I think at first I can hear myself. I hear an echo.
Oh, sorry, I don't know why, but go.
Okay, and then Hook and Hobbs kind of screwed over Cage because Hook distracted the ref, and then Hobbs was able to nail Brian Cage with the FTW title, knocks him out, and then that's when Starks pinned him. And then Hobbs, Taz, and the rest of Team Taz were very, very happy that Starks won, and Brian Cage was just sitting there looking blindsided. So I don't really know well, I guess I can see where this came from because tensions have been flaring within that team for a while. But I'm interested to see what's going on. What say you, exec?
Team Taz should have been over a while ago. Now, here's the thing. You start off, because I notate these things. You start off talking about the FTR, FTW, whatever. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's FT Chris. You know, fuck the Chris. Because why in the world do I have to watch this show and review it? Because now I'm looking at the FTW Championship, which is a bullcrap championship. Shortly after, I had to watch for the IWGP United States Championship. Do we not have championships in AEW that we can defend instead of?
Let me tell you this: you don't have to do. Brother man. Good evening, brother man. You don't have to do anything. That's number one. Number two, the FTW title is essentially Taz's title. It's something that he kind of made up in kind of a way. So that's something that actually does belong to AEW. Number two, Jon Moxley is an AEW talent, and he's a champion in another promotion. Having him defend it on AEW, one, cross-pollinates the audiences. They get the New Japan audience. Two, it only furthers Jon Moxley and his stock, which is just good for AEW in general because he's an AEW talent. So that makes sense. And FTW, it's like it's a Fyter Fest is a 2-night show. You're defending titles. The FTW title, to me, like, it hasn't been defended in so long. That's something that fans wanted to see from Brian Cage.
I've never heard somebody come in here and say, "Gee, I wonder when they're going to defend the FTW championship."
I've said it on the show before. Kaden has said it on the show before.
Oh, more AEW
Steven has
fans.
said. Well, you said heard. These are people that you actually know. Wait, when you say heard, are you talking about Twitter? Because I can find you a tweet if you need.
You're going to really search for it. Nobody
No,
wants to see the FTW. It's not a real championship. It needs to go the way of the 24/7
just because you didn't hear something doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
It needs to go the way of the 24/7
The more
championship.
you know.
That title needs to go. That's my email headline. But the AEW, I'm sorry, the 24/7 championship needs to go. The FTW championship needs to go. As far as the match was, I agree. But you had me reviewing it because it happened on AEW Dynamite, which is blowing you up. Look, Brian Cage is a star by looks only. He's solid. He can go in the ring, but besides that, he doesn't have the charisma you need. Ricky Starks actually does have the charisma you need. And if you want to, I don't know, Jeff. If you want to make a star out of him, you possibly can, but it's going to take a lot more work to have him fight for an FTW championship.
Well, yeah, but it's one step at a time. It's one step at a time. Ricky Starks is not going to be a star anytime soon. There's too many people that have eclipsed him already. He's going to be waiting in the water for a while just because there's people that are just ahead of him right now. Not that I don't like Ricky Starks, but I think that he has some growing to do before he's anywhere near a star. Next, we have Cody Rhodes cutting a promo. He took the headset from the announcers, and he kind of was just like, here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to kick a 60-year-old man. He was very, very upset about that. Malachi Black attacked him, and he attacked Arn Anderson last week. And then he challenged Malachi Black to come out to a fight because it's Fyter Fest. So naturally, we should fight. Malachi Black appeared on the screen, had some words for Cody. Things went black. He appeared in the ring. And then they fought for a while till they got pulled apart. What say you, exec?
Best segment of the night. And let me tell you why it was the best segment of the night. So you got Cody Rhodes come out, showing you that fire, showing you that passion, and realize that, hey, I need to put a star over, somebody who's actually a star, right? Not, people who, I brought in and hope to make them stars, but really I want to hold them down because I want to be in charge of the company. Aleister Black is an actual star. Now, granted, he wasn't doing crap on Raw and SmackDown because he's not that big a star, but he's still a star, much like Andrade. So he said, I'm going to put this guy over. Let me tell you how smart Tommy End is. Tommy End knows that people know him more so for Aleister Black as opposed to Tommy End. So I'm going to take my WWE gimmick and I'm going to bring it over AEW and capitalize on it some more. Great job by you, Tommy End. That's why this storyline and this part was fire, because I felt a story was not old and it was fresh and it was very, very, very good, including the WWE style pull apart when these two are fighting and then everybody comes out and tries to keep them from fighting. Love this segment from beginning to end. Kudos to Cody Rhodes as well as Tommy End.
I loved Cody here as well, but two things. This was not the best segment of the night. That belongs to the Hangman Page segment. Number two, when Malachi Black debuted, people were chanting Tommy End. They weren't chanting Aleister Black. I think they should have just kept his former indie name and went with it. But I'm willing.
He didn't want to keep his former indie name because he knows people know him from being Aleister Black. And Aleister Black and Malachi Black sounds a lot alike. So I'm just saying, kudos to you, Tommy End and Cody Rhodes. Smart team.
And fire someone.
Because Caden was talking that Waka Flocka. He needed to go. I hope he's clean out his lobby.
Okay, and next we had Pride and Powerful. Tully Blanchard was wildin' and decided to walk the backstage halls by himself. Pride and Powerful came and punked him out, but they respect their elders, so they didn't actually beat him up. They just spooked him a little bit, and when he was sufficiently shook, he said, go get your boys and we'll beat them up. Tully Blanchard was like, okay, I'll go get my boys, and we'll see what we're going to do. Do you have anything to say about that exactly?
Yeah. Let's talk about how terrible it was. I had two problems with this segment. Okay, you ready? Listen up. Listen closely. Listen with your ears because you don't do that too often. So first of all, here's what you said that was bull crap. He was walking in the backstage by himself. He's not allowed to do that. He's a human being. He works for the company. He can walk backstage.
Someone didn't watch the show. He
doesn't need to do it. He is a grown man. He can walk anywhere he wants. He doesn't need to be told what to do or anything like that. He can walk.
Someone did not watch the show.
Two, he was attacked by these two clowns, Proud and Powerful, but if they respect their elders like they said, why are you trying to stare at a 60-some-odd-year-old man? He might have heart complications. Did you think about that? No, you didn't think about that. So shame on you, Proud and Powerful.
Shame on you,
Shame on you, proud and powerful. You need to respect your elders a little bit more, because if you caused that man a heart attack, it would have been on your conscience, and you would have deserved to have it on your conscience, and he would have haunted you for the rest of your life because you were being mean to your elders. I don't condone that, and shame on you, Sheriff, because apparently you don't uphold the law, because if you did, you'll be calling for these two people to be arrested for aggravated assault.
Listen, first of all, they didn't assault anyone. Second of all, Tully Blanchard with a target on his back walking around alone is like 50 Cent walking around without a bulletproof vest back in 2000. It's just dumb. Anyways, we're moving on. What's next? Oh, we have the Hangman Page segment, which was actually, in all actuality, the best segment of the night. Hangman came out to a big pop, and he was presumably going to challenge... What the heck was that? They doing fireworks outside. Anyway, he was presumably going to challenge Kenny Omega.
They're happy that Dynamite is over.
No, they're happy that Hangman Page is going to get his title shot after he wins the tag team match that they announced at the end of this segment, because he tried to challenge Kenny Omega to a shot at the AEW title. The champion came out with the rest of the Elite, and he was like, and then he tried to be a coward and, you know, everybody attacked Hangman at once, but then Dark Order, Hangman's new friends, came out to defend him. And at that point, Hangman was like, yeah, I want a match with Kenny. Kenny was like, I'm not giving you that match. I'll give you a 5v5 elimination chamber style, elimination match, right? Elimination tag team match, I should say. And if you win, not only do you get a shot at the AEW title, your friends will get a shot at the tag titles. But if I win, you guys get no title shot, ever. And that goes for you too, Hangman Adam Page. That goes for both titles. Hangman Page accepted, and we'll see that match presumably next week. I don't remember. What say you, exec? Exactly.
So here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. There's a couple things I didn't like about this promo, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't like Hangman Page. Why? Because I'm not sold on Hangman Page. I don't know what people see in him, and every time he comes out, your former co-host Kaden goes, "Oh, he's so over." You know, I feel like he's getting a bottle of lotion. Oh, he's so over. Oh, everybody loves him. Oh, he's gonna get the title. It's so great. It's a slow build, but he's not interesting. He's not entertaining. Why do we like this kid? He doesn't have the look. He needs to gain about 15 to 20 pounds. He doesn't have the mic skills. The mic skills very bland. What? Because he comes out, I'm a cowboy shit, and I drink beer. What is going on here? Why are you interrupting me? I'm telling you why I don't like this.
You know what I love? I love doing
these AEW shows. Bad as
I'm leading.
Jaywalking.
I'm leading.
What does that mean?
I get to talk whenever.
You turn over the mic to me,
and I get to not talk
for my color.
And I'm taking it back.
That doesn't make sense. Jim Ross doesn't do that.
I'm taking it back.
Jim Ross does not do that here on WWE.
Jim Ross can't remember names. WWE Dynamite.
I wish I didn't remember this.
I love doing these shows with you because you will say things that you just know are not true, but you'll say them just because you know that stance needs to be presented. You're going to sit here and tell me that Hangman Page doesn't have a good look?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to tell you. You put Hangman Page...
Have you seen that, man?
No, he just wasn't on my screen about an hour and a half ago.
Clearly not.
You put a Hangman Page on the screen. No, I don't. You see Hangman Page on the screen, and you put a screenshot of Drew McIntyre next to him. That's a wrestler. Drew McIntyre is a wrestler. Roman Reigns is a wrestler. I don't believe no Hangman Page. No, get out of here with that. Miss me with that BS, man. I don't care about no Hangman Page.
Yeah, there's never, ever been a wrestler that did not look like Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. That's never existed.
Anyway, F a Hangman Page, not interested, don't care about him. The second part of this segment I didn't like. Dark Order. Why are we still around? Why are we still a thing? Why can't we get rid of them? Okay? I'm sick of seeing Dark Order. There's now an interesting one among them all. The gimmick is dead. Let them go.
Anna Jay is not interesting. So Tay Conti is not interesting. So Johnny Hungy's not interesting.
I know what I did wrong. I apologize. Let me rewind. There's not an interesting character in this group. Please let them go. They're dead.
So Hangman Page is not interesting. Got it.
Go back to my first point.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of Hangman Page.
I know.
He doesn't do it for me. Okay. Now, if I'm an 18-year-old kid and who loves AEW wrestling and ejaculates every time they come around, sure, I'll say something. But right now, I'm saying I'm not a fan of Hangman Page. Now, next thing I don't like about this, the Good Brothers. What the hell are they there for? What do they do?
They're part of the Elite.
Oh, okay. What about the Young Sucks? What the hell are they there for? What do they do?
They're the tag team champions.
Yeah, but seriously, like, why
run the company?
Why do we care about this freaking Young Sucks so much? Like, they're not entertaining. They aren't. Why do you like them?
Wait. The Young Bucks aren't entertaining?
The Young Sucks suck.
Okay, so the Young Bucks suck. Hangman Page sucks. Kenny Omega sucks?
All right, that brings me to the next thing I didn't like about this segment. Don Callis, he still has a job?
Apparently. Long as Omega's the champion, yeah.
There was only one person who was interesting in this promo, and that's Kenny Omega. And at the same time, I'm looking at Kenny Omega like, why do you have that on your face? This guy is so overrated, but I can see why he's the AEW World Champion homegrown. I give him credit for that. He was the only one that tried to make something of this when he was like a belt collector. And that was so corny. It was so corny, I laughed. But it was corny. Funny. So I gave him credit. Funny. But Hangman Page, solid, but not a main event player to me. The Dark Order need to be disbanded. Good Brothers need to go back to Impact, where they make an impact. The Young Sucks need to retire. Don Callis needs to be doing interviews backstage somewhere. And Kenny Omega needs to end this feud quickly. That's my thoughts on this segment.
I see. A lot of the people you named, AEW as a company were started on the backs of these people. I mean, when Chris Jericho gave his interview with Steve Austin, he said when you start a company, you need like 5 to 7 guys that you can automatically push that can carry at least the main event scene while you build everything underneath. Hangman Page, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, these are guys that he named within that 7, including Cody Rhodes. He didn't name Jon Moxley because at the time when they were starting, they didn't know Moxley was even coming. He did name himself. So you can say that they're not interesting, but they clearly are. Like, they are not only are they interesting, they're so interesting that they're the reason that AEW even exists. I don't see, like, at this point, you cannot like the Young Bucks. I wasn't a fan of Cody Rhodes, but watching AEW, he made me a fan. Like, at this point, with all of their success, with everything they've been able to do in the wrestling business, to deny that they just have any talent or any interest or that they're able to do anything is just verifiably false. Like they've revolutionized the wrestling business, especially on the indie scene, in a lot of ways. I don't see how you can say that they're just not interesting.
Simple. I formulate my lips by saying Young Sucks are not interesting. They have never been interesting. They go out there, they do a whole bunch of flips. There's no actual story when it comes to their tag team wrestling, and they do a lot of super kicks. That's what they do. They're not interesting to me, and they're not a team that I will build a tag team division around. Never have been, never will be.
Why?
And I don't understand. We don't understand. But apparently it's okay because for the IWGP United States Champion, if you listen to her.
No, actually, if you listen to me, I said I didn't know why Anderson was getting a title shot. Listen with your ears. You don't do that often.
You know what? I wish I could mess with my eyes because I had to sit there and I had to watch these people in the ring. And then, you know what? Let's go ahead and mess with my ears because I had to listen to them too. I had to listen to Hangman Page talk. Oh, this is what I want. And then Kenny Omega said, this is what I want. I mean, it made no sense. How did we get there? Hey, you give me the challenge or not? That's how it needs to be. Like, just get to the meat and potatoes. But no, they want to keep doing that so they can sell y'all AEW fan freaks. Fyter Fest. Why Fyter Fest night 2? Oh, what a great night for AEW. Even though I just watched it, we'll talk about that in the main event. Let's talk about the next segment, Miss Lee.
Yeah. See how great things go when I leave. Matt Hardy versus Christian Cage. I took this match as a bathroom break because I don't care about Matt Hardy versus Christian in 2021. But if you do care, Christian won. Jurassic Express came out to help Christian after Matt Hardy's clan tried to jump him at the end of the match. So they're continuing that dynamic between Christian and Jungle Boy. I would personally like to see that match as long as Christian is going to lose. And I know that they have some history just outside of kayfabe, where Jungle Boy was able to meet Christian when he was younger, tell him that he wanted to be a wrestler, and so there's kind of a mentorship thing going on there. But I'm waiting for Christian to kind of turn, or maybe I doubt Jungle Boy would be the one to turn on Christian, because I think he's going to stay white meat babyface for a while. But what say you, exec?
I don't understand. See, this I think I called somebody on this last week. Oh, you know who it was? It was your Caden friend. All right, I'm going to put my notepad.
Shout out to Caden.
This is my biggest problem with AEW. Everything else aside, I'll even take my glasses off of this. This is my biggest problem with AEW. All right,
the glasses.
There is no way in the world, if I was watching Raw and next week they advertised Christian versus Matt Hardy, everybody will go crazy. Oh, look at WWE. They're doing this old match from 2000, blah, 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 blah. Crucifying WWE. But because AEW does it, all the fans act like, oh, it's cool. They're doing it. Oh, what respect to the old school. Blah, 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 blah. Why?
But that's not true.
Why do y'all stop interrupting excellence? Stop interrupting the executive consultant.
I'm leading.
You bring him on, and you say, "Hey, Chris, we need you to save this show." And I'm like, "All right, fine. I'm gonna save the show for you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you my expertise advice, and you keep interrupting the executive consultant."
When the glasses come off,
it makes no sense. And this is why I give AEW such a hard time, because somebody has to, because your fans surely are not going to tell the truth. So I'm going to tell you the truth. Christian versus Matt Hardy, not on AEW, Dynamite, maybe AEW Dark Elevation, but not AEW Dynamite. You have all these people to back. You have almost 90 people on contract in AEW. Why? I have no idea, but you have almost 90 people. But you decide to put Matt Hardy and Christian on? Matt Hardy looks like he barely walked in the ring. Why are you doing it? Makes no sense. And then you want to tell me you want to see Christian versus Jungle Boy? Because Jungle Boy better when he was younger?
No, I said I want to be.
I met Kevin Nash when I was younger. Doesn't mean I want to get in the ring with him.
I don't want to see you in the ring at all. That's number one. Number two, I want to see Christian versus Jungle Boy if Jungle Boy's going to win. Because Christian is a credible name that if Jungle Boy beats, it means something. Number two, it is a straw man to say that that AEW fans just blindly be like, oh, this is great.
They do every week.
But that's not true.
That is true.
Not only is it not true, right before you said that, I sat here saying that I didn't want to see that. I'm an AEW fan.
Who said it was true?
Who said what was true?
That every week AEW fans do that.
You said that the fans, like, whenever they do something.
I said that?
Yeah, you said if WWE did it, that they would criticize it, but AEW does it, so they act like it's fine.
So I said it.
You just said that, yeah.
Then it must be true. Look, here's what I'm trying to tell you, right? This is exactly what I'm trying to tell you. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's out of control. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. And no one wants to see Jungle Boy be Christian. I'm sorry. It should not happen. It's too soon. Maybe eventually. No, Steve is trolling you. Okay, that's what he's doing.
I know. I know.
But it's ridiculous for it. They already told you. Jim Ross has the old WWE announcer mindset, so they already give you the spoilers in their announcing. Christian's getting a title shot soon. Not Jungle Boy. He had his time. He had his time where he's got all these fans, all these little cadence coming from Chuck E. Cheese and beating their meat, and they're saying, "Hey, AEW, go Jungle Boy," but he lost.
Wait for the story.
There's no story to be told.
I'm kidding. Anyway, so yeah, maybe Christian will get a title shot, but he's not going to win. Christian is there to put people over. At least that's what he should be doing, and that's good. That's good. Right. Like, I'm not saying that I never want to see Christian or Matt Hardy. I'm just saying that I want to see them in positions that benefit the company the best, and I think that the best would be them working with young guys to lift them up and bring them to a next level, not really fighting each other.
I agree with that, but they're fighting each other, and that was a problem number one. Problem number two is some of them. I mean, Christian can still go. Don't get me wrong, Christian can still go, even though he's injury prone, so he shouldn't be out there every week. But Christian should still go. Can still go. Matt Hardy is a struggle for me to watch.
What if it's cinematic?
Cinematic's over. I don't want to see any more cinematic matches.
We're gonna move on to the next segment.
No, what are you talking about? No, what's the point of having the cinematic match? The cinematic match was done because they needed to do certain things during the pandemic era, which we're technically still in.
Matt Hardy was doing cinematic before the pandemic. He actually reinvigorated that in the wrestling business.
He made one cinematic match that was entertaining. Every one he's had since then was not as entertaining. And they try to recreate it, and they fail. And when he came back to AEW, because he blamed WWE, because that's the cool thing to do when you go to AEW, is to blame WWE. But we tried in AEWE, the gimmick did not work, and he had to abandon it again and create big money Matt.
Well, that's not true. You're saying that he abandoned the gimmick because it didn't work. I think he just moved on. People were very much into the broken cinematic matches. They were.
Oh, it wasn't working. It was old, and they decided they wanted to go.
He cracked his skull on the concrete.
It was old. He tried it in TNA. It worked for him in TNA. Then he tried to duplicate it in WWE. At first, it did not work. He kept trying to do it until it became complete broken, and it still didn't work. And then he blamed WWE in this audience. So he said, I'm going to take it to AEW because their fans are more loyal and they'll do anything. And then it wasn't working at AEW. So he said, I'm going to change it because maybe it's just stale. And yes, it is stale.
But I thought that AEW fans like anything and they only criticize WWE.
You're absolutely right.
So why was it not working?
It wasn't working because it was just stale.
But even if it's stale, they're gonna like it anyway because it's AEW. Remember? They
still gave the credit that they thought Matt thought it should have deserved, but not enough of it to become the player that he wanted to be. So yes, it was stale. It was stale, and even by AEW standards.
That's okay. That's fair. That's fair. And I will say this: just because it stopped working for Matt Hardy doesn't mean cinematic matches can't work at all. I thought that it was very clever when WWE did the Money in the Bank like inside of their office.
You said during the pandemic era, right?
That was during the pandemic era.
Right. When they still were in the Performance Center and everything before the Thunderdome. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just want, but I think that there's still something that can be done.
Why?
But I don't think it should be, because I think that there are concepts that would work better as cinematic matches.
You mean every time Sting wrestles a match?
Anyways, Britt Baker's segment was up next. I know you love yourself some Britt Baker, as everybody does. She came out and she was hot.
LA Knight.
DMD.
Oh, yeah, DMD. My fault.
LA Knights, anyway. And so she came out. The crowd was very, very hot. The crowd was hot all night, actually. But they were very into her. She said that Vicky's last name, Guerrero, keeps her relevant. But Nyla Rose, unfortunately, doesn't have the privilege of being married to a famous or formerly married to a famous wrestler. So she needs the AEW women's title to keep her relevant, and she needs Britt Baker to keep her relevant. Britt Baker, however, keeps the title relevant because she herself is over. She said she's the hottest thing going in wrestling right now, and she says that Nyla is irrelevant and she's going to beat her, and Nyla is going to go back down to the totem pole as she always does. JR on commentary said that Britt Baker is the #1 female in wrestling. I believe that myself. I do think that there's a case you can make for Bianca Belair, but I would say it's Britt Baker. She came off very face-ish here, only
She's
just because I know. Only just because of the lack of heelness, not really because she was doing anything that a face would normally do. But I didn't like that at first, and I mean I still kind of don't, because the reason people like her is because of her original character. Even though it was heel, I don't think you should change that, because you give people more of what they want. You don't just change it because you see that they like. But at this point, like they can't not turn her face. Like, the way that crowd was reacting to her, there's no way that she could be a heel at all. She could do heelish things and remain her character, but she can't be put in a position where people are trying to root against her, because they're just not going to. So I can see why AEW did what they had to do.
They did a smart decision. They did a smart decision by turning her face. It was the only thing they could do. It was very similar as when Becky Lynch turned heel in 2018 SummerSlam, New York City. I was there. And she became more popular, actually, when she turned a heel. She tried to be a heel for like months and months. Then Nia Jax broke her face. And she just instantly brought her back as a face, because they realized there's nothing she could do that would make her a heel. There was also always going to be a face reaction. Britt Baker, for the last couple months, everything she did was to cheer for her. And one thing that screwed her up as far as being a heel to make her a face is she came up with a catchphrase. When you come up with a catchphrase, that's usually it catches on. You're usually automatically going to turn face, so it's the best decision. But she still came out and cut a fire promo. Britt Baker is money. Britt Baker is not the hottest woman in wrestling, but she's definitely the hottest woman in AEW right now. I can't give you wrestling because there's a lot of people that you need to give. Bianca Belair's in the conversation. Bayley's out right now. If she was still around, I would have to say Bayley. When Sasha comes back, she's still in the conversation. As much as she annoys people, I still have to give give up to Charlotte Flair. Yeah. And yeah, she bothers me. She rubs me the wrong way too, but you still always have to give her.
Is Charlotte hot though? Is Charlotte hot?
She's always in the conversation, no matter what. You can never put her down because she'll have a good match. She shows up. I mean, she's still Charlotte Flair at the end of the day.
Well, I think that's kind of because I feel like Charlotte is always Charlotte, like you said.
Correct.
She's always good, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're hot.
So let me put it into perspective. I see what you're saying, but let me put it into perspective with you. You start off that conversation by saying, I think Charlotte's always Charlotte.
Yeah.
Right? But at this stage in her career, can you say Britt is always Britt?
Ooh.
Okay. So that's where you have to make the difference, and that's where you have to figure it out for a second. But I definitely will still give credit where credit is due to Britt Baker for everything she's done. She's a very entertaining young lady, and I can't wait to see her get promoted to World Wrestling Entertainment.
See, a wholesome segment. Let's drag it on down by bringing in Jon Moxley, someone that you don't like. He said he's not the hunter. He said he's not the hunted, he's the hunter. And so he's pretty much implying that he's going to be a fighting champion. And we will see him defending the IWGP title, United States title again. What say you, exec? This was a quick segment. So.
It's so nice to see that they're paying attention to their titles. I give AEW credit for that. Good job.
Okay, so next we're going to do Sammy Guevara versus question mark. I don't know who that guy was, but this was
take Baker right now. I would take Baker right now.
This was a glorified squash match. Sammy almost did kind of a spinneroonie, like when he did a flip off the ropes while his opponent was outside the ring, and then he spun and he like landed on his side. And the crowd was Sammy is super over right now. He's really like the Inner Circle versus Pinnacle rivalry really like allowed him to shine outside the group, which is really what I wanted to see. It was time for Inner Circle to kind of separate and shine as individuals / teams in the way of Pride and Powerful. So this was a glorified squash match. Sammy won pretty decidedly, and I'm interested to see. I think that they're just padding his stats now while he feuds with Sean Spears. What say you, exec?
Sammy Guevara is a good talent in the ring. I think he'll be a great talent and a great face of 205 Live.
Oh my goodness. What? You don't like Sammy Guevara?
I didn't say I didn't like Sammy Guevara. Did you hear me say that?
Because if you want him in 205 Live, then you don't want to see him because you don't watch 205 Live.
That's not true. I mean, it's not bad. It's just that I want to see him be successful. And in order for him to be successful, he needs to go to 205 Live.
You don't watch 205 Live, so you don't want to see him.
Well, maybe I'll watch it if he's on. Maybe I'll try to watch once a month.
Anyways.
I'm just saying, you know what? If he stays in AEW, you know what I would love to see Sammy Guevara feud with? I think their matches will be fire. Orange Cassidy. I think it'll be great. Can we go back to Britt Baker and Nyla Rose, though? Because Vicky Guerrero, in my opinion, is one of the greatest managers of all time, and she doesn't get the credit she deserves. Now, she has not hit her stride in AEW. I don't believe that's completely her fault, even though I thought she fumbled a little bit with her words after DMD's interview. She was like, I couldn't understand what she was saying. Like, oh, Vicky, you're losing it. But then Nyla Rose spoke, and I don't hear Nyla Rose speak too often, but when I really paid attention to what she said today, I wish I put the transcript because I would imitate her. She was like, I am Nyla Rose, and I'm going to beat you for that championship next week. And I was like, hey, why is her voice deeper than mine? Does anybody know?
Disclaimer.
Why are we disclaiming? I'm asking a question.
Disclaimer.
It's a legitimate question. Why is her voice deeper than mine?
Disclaimer.
All right. Anyway, let's go to the next segment.
Next segment was
Sammy Guevara and Orange Cassidy. Great match coming. I'm telling you. Sammy Guevara and Orange Cassidy. And that'll be when Sammy goes to 205 Live.
No. First of all, they're both faces. That's not really going to happen anytime soon. But so after the Brit, it was Jon Moxley, it was Sammy Guevara. We're going to go to the mini QT segment where he was being interviewed by Tony Schiavone. He swills him with brown liquid. I don't know what that brown liquid is. He said Cody has a golden shovel, but he's not buried, and Cody can't bury him with said golden shovel. What say you?
Say that again. This was a stupid thing. Then they pour like some kind of brown liquid on Tony Schiavone.
Brown liquid, yeah. I don't know what that was.
Anytime QT Marshall's on the screen, I see brown liquid because I go take a crap in my toilet. I don't know why he's even still on screen. Let's go to the next segment.
Yeah, okay. So Penelope Ford versus Yuka Sakazaki. Sorry. Yuka made her return after 16 months. I presume that she couldn't come here because of COVID, but she's back now. The crowd seemed to be decently happy to see her. She did walk away with the victory. I'm not the women
bleeding and not doing a good job. That's why we haven't ran a commercial.
No, we didn't run a commercial because nobody wants to see that when there's great content going on. Anyways,
only when I talk.
That's a lie. So Yuka came away with the win. The crowd was decently happy to see her. The women's scene is kind of crowded right now, so I don't know where she goes from here. But to have a returning baby face that people like to see on a specialty show like Fyter Fest on night one, I think it was a pretty decent move. And I like Penelope Ford, and I thought the match was pretty decent. It was something to hold us over until the main event. What say you, exec?
There was only one good thing about this segment, and I will tell you what it is. When Penelope Ford came out, they announced that she's from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I got all disrespect for Penelope Ford I did not have before. I don't know who she wrestled. It was some name I can't pronounce, but they had a match that was as good as they could have for the two of them. But hey, Penelope Ford, good for you for being from Philly. You're a smart cookie.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. Unless she's moving down here, we're not getting married.
I don't want to be miserable for the rest of my life. Anyway, main event: Darby Allin versus.
You choose to stay in New York, you're going to be miserable.
You're not wrong. That's the sad part. Allin.
Would you want her to be your stepmom, princess? Do you think she could be your stepmom?
I don't know.
Yeah, she can't. She makes terrible decisions. She likes AEW.
You don't want me to be.
I know, right? What you say? I say AEW. What do you say? You don't know what
World
it is.
Wrestling Entertainment.
No, that's all you know.
Oh no!
That's all she knows. This is why you're Princess Excellence right here.
Mute this guy. Okay, so Darby Allin versus Ethan Page, because she just said World Wrestling Entertainment, and that hurt my soul. She pulled a JR. She pulled a Jim Ross. Darby Allin versus Ethan Page. This was a coffin match, the first coffin match in AEW history. I don't know if you guys saw the spot where Ethan Page did a superplex and Darby Allin landed on the steel steps. I audibly was like, yikes. My aunt was watching over my shoulder and she was like, well, goddamn, because, scripted or not, that shit looked like it hurt. And then Darby Allin, I was impressed because I can barely skateboard on the ground, but he somehow was able to skateboard on Ethan Page's back. And with this, he was able to put Ethan Page into the coffin and get that win. And then after he got the win, he coffin dropped onto the coffin. And the top of the coffin collapsed. All the wood broke and he landed on Ethan Page. So he put the proverbial nail in the coffin, so to speak. Earlier in the match, though, Scorpio Sky was in the coffin and he hopped out trying to attack Darby on some sucker shit. And then Sting came out, as he does, and he scared Scorpio Sky off to make it a fair fight. And Darby Allin came away with the win. You got Sting on the show. And I thought that it was a good way to end it. I thought that the match should have been a little bit longer, if I'm honest. They actually went a little bit over, and I felt like they were rushing because they were running out of time. If that was the case, they could have cut down the Penelope Ford or shortened that match. I don't know why that was the case, but I like this match. It was very good. Last week's promo, especially Ethan Page, I was surprised at how well he did on the mic. Made me more excited for this than I would have been, and they delivered in my opinion. What say you, exec?
So few things. One, at the end of this match, and AEW is a new company, so I'll give them a pass one. They might want to, make sure they pay attention to the camera angles because there was too many times where I'm looking at the referee tell Darby what he's supposed to be doing because they're wrapping up the show, and that was actually visibly annoying. You can make the mistake once, but it was like the whole time. He was like, don't go up there. Okay, go. Okay, we're going to set it up. Hold it right there. 30 seconds, stuff like that. That was annoying. I'm not used to seeing that on camera. I don't want to see it on camera. But I'll give him a pass for that. I think Darby Allin is very, very charismatic, and I like Darby Allin a lot. And I think he and Sammy Guevara both will be the face of 205 Live, and I might watch it twice a month. when they get to 205 Live. But this match is crazy. I know it's a special gimmick match, and that's probably why. I don't think it necessarily deserved a main event, but it did exactly what it had to do. I think Darby Allin was better on the main event segment when he was the TV champion. He's not the TV champion anymore. The TV champion was not really on tonight. I mean, they did a little vignette, but he wasn't really on tonight because they had to make room for the FTW championship and the IWGP United States championship. So good job to you, AEW. But one thing I want to highlight is this is your brain, right? Look at that. This is your brain on drugs. Please do not pay attention to Darby Allin. Kids, do not try this at home. It makes no sense why you did a coffin drop after you won the match and hurt yourself more than your opponent. Because that's what you did.
My guy, Fyter Fest is a 2-night event. No, all of the champions aren't fighting on the one show. That wouldn't make any sense. There would be nothing left for part 2.
I remember NXT did a pay-per-view. I think it was called Stand and Deliver. And they had 2 nights on. And when they had 2 nights, I think both nights had championship matches. And neither one of them were for New Japan Pro Wrestling or IWGP.
Your point?
You made a point, and I'm countering your point. My point has been made.
But that's NXT.
Right. You're better promotion. You're right.
They can't work. They don't work with other promotions at all.
Because they don't have to. They realize they have titles.
They do have to.
And we're going to.
They should.
Why should they?
Because maybe I would start watching again if they get something.
They're not losing sleep because you are not watching.
Yeah. No. They don't have to lose sleep, but I'm saying they should if they want it. Like they should do something different for once. Like I don't want to see that. I don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I liked the match that he had in the first match. And so not because I am a fan of New Japan, but because I'm a fan of Jon Moxley, and Jon Moxley is an AEW face. I wanted to see him. And again, they were able to cross-pollinate. Here's a swear jar for Jeff, because I'm not supposed to say this on a YouTube show. They were able to cross-pollinate that audience. It's a smart business decision. You're saying, well, IWGP is not a AEW title, so why would you defend it on an AEW show? I'm like, well, they want to cross-pollinate. Not only do they want to cross-pollinate the audience, Jon Moxley is an AEW figure. So any shine that they give him and any way that they can make him a big deal is good for them in the long run. NXT will take you to the moon.
To the moon.
But what if I want to go to Mars?
You belong there.
Boys go to Jupiter to get more stupid.
No, men stay on Earth. Women go mind blown. This
is the most WWE salty review of being mad at AEW isn't WWE ever. I'm having a stroke trying to read that. Sorry.
Yeah, what he's saying.
Sorry, Red Leaf Retrocast.
No, put it up there. I'll read it.
Yeah.
I'll translate it. He's trying to say this is the most salty WWE fan-based review of an AEW show that's not WWE ever. That's what he's trying to say. See,
I'm still confused, but I'm assuming that he's mad at me.
No. He's a fan of AEW, and he's saying that it's too pro WWE. That's what he's saying. So he's not mad at you.
Oh, is he mad at you?
He's more upset with me because I'm
not mad, but you get what I'm trying to
say. Right, yeah. Because I'm telling AEW how I feel, but that's how I feel. I feel like AEW could be utilized what they do a little bit better if they made smarter business decisions. You can take that comment down now. Smarter decisions and smarter.
I
didn't
put it up. Okay, so I'm gonna say this.
She's gonna say this.
I do think.
She does think.
But he gave you a stroke. Anyway, I do think that there is some level of merit to what you're saying. Are you mimicking my hands?
No, and for a second it looked like you were washing your screen. I don't know. Look, go ahead and talk.
Oh no, my hand was moving here, but see, you made me lose it. Literally, fuck you. Anyway, there is some level of merit.
So you are trying to be my daughter's stepmom. That's what you're saying.
Hell no. There is some level of merit to what you're saying. However, in context, it's not the case. If it was WWE and they allowed some, indie promotion to defend their title on their show, they're doing a lot more for them than they are for themselves. Also, it wouldn't really make sense because, like you said, they have so much talent. They have so many titles. They have so many shows, this, that, and the third. They really do not need that, and it would essentially be a waste. AEW, however, they have one TV show for now. They're getting a new one soon. They don't have, well, they do have titles, right? But they don't have titles to where it's like you can span it out between two shows, especially when you take into account storylines, who's here, who's not, the rankings, etc. And they're still within 2 years, they're still essentially a startup. They're trying to work with other promotions. And this is a promotion that's by wrestlers for wrestling fans. Wrestling fans like New Japan Pro Wrestling. They like when territories collaborate, to like the territory days, stuff like that. It's meant to be fun, and it's a good business decision because it cross-pollinates the audience, and it props up Jon Moxley, who is an AEW guy. So your argument would make sense, but not in this context, because this is a good thing for AEW.
I just don't agree with you.
I know.
I just feel like AEW doesn't make smart business decisions, and they can make a smarter business decision and be a much better promotion if they make these decisions. Cut some of your roster. Realize that you don't have to be WWE automatically. You can do one show, do a limited amount. I don't think Raw should have three or four different titles. I think they should have a men's title, a women's title, a mid-card men's title, 2 tag team titles, one for men, one for women. That's it. There should be no 24/7. There shouldn't be any $1 million championship. These titles are irrelevant. So when you come to AEW, when I hear FTW Championship, it doesn't need to be there. IWGP United States Championship, it's fine to come as a special now and then. But if you're trying to also promote your television title and it's still not where it needs to be, you don't need to have it there. It was the same thing with the NWA Women's Championship when they used to be one every single week, and they barely did anything with the AEW Women's Championship. I mean, it's just you have to think about making smarter decisions as a business, and I don't see AEW doing it, and I think they do that so much to cater to the fans, and the fans are not helping the AEW product. I'm a big fan of AEW in the long run because I like a lot of their characters. I like the Acclaim. I like Jade Cargill. I like Dr. Britt Baker. I like Orange Cassidy. I like Pentagon. There are a lot of wrestlers in AEW I like, but they're not getting the shine that they could. All of them anyway. They're not getting the shine that they could because AEW wants to cater to the internet wrestling community, but they're not the ones that's spending money, which is why they have to go. This is a smart business decision. Let Chris finish. This is a smart business decision. When they run these towns, they run the smaller venues, and I think that's good because they sell out these smart venues. It's the crowd be there. They are loyal wrestling fans, and they're hot and they're loud. Like tonight's crowd, I'll give them all the credit. Shout out to our very own technician Davis Anderson, as well as Caden Dirt Seasons. They are right there in the crowd. They're still there. Apparently, AEW is still taping, but they're still right there tonight. They were hot all night, and I give you that AEW's crowd is 10 times better than the Raw SmackDown crowd. But why do you think that is, Sheriff? That's a legitimate question I'm asking you. Go ahead and give it an answer.
Now, no, I didn't say anything while you monologued. I just made reactions because you were talking Waka Flocka. But anyways, as you like to say, yeah, I'm using it against you. You're talking Waka Flocka.
Oh,
the crowd was hot because AEW caters to its fans, which you ironically tried to paint as a negative. I really don't understand that. You said that the fans don't help the company. The fans are the reason that the company exists. You sound like Vince McMahon. I don't know. The fans are the reason the company exists. I don't get that. You said that, NWA title was being defended more. Yeah, they were treating the NWA title as supplementary content, which it is. Meanwhile, the AEW title can't be defended as much because that's their actual title. They build up storylines around that. They have rankings around that. It's not the same as the NWA title. If they were building up rankings for the NWA title and having it be like the big storylines, that would make a lot of sense. It's not their title. You're like, well, we see them defending the NWA title on Dynamite. Yeah, it's supplementary. It's supplementary content. It's not like the AEW title that's a bigger deal in that specific promotion. And then you said that the internet fans are not the ones spending the money. I don't know. Who is an internet fan? Anybody on Pro Wrestling Tees is an internet fan. Pro Wrestling Tees people are the people who are buying AEW's merch. They're the people who are going to the shows. Like, who do you think is watching week in, week out? Who do you think that 800K is? Who do you think that 800K is? Which is kind of like their base. The sheriff being the voice of reason. Thank you, Red Leaf Retrocast. It's a hard.
I asked a question and I didn't get an answer. So here's the thing.
You said why is the crowd hot?
So here's the thing, right? 4,700 people bought tickets for tonight's show. SmackDown has 14,000 people coming, right? That's what I'm talking about. Now, the 4,700 people, still talking, 4,700 people who are in there, right? They are wrestling fans. They're the internet wrestling community fans. They know wrestling. They love wrestling. They are wrestling. They want to be anti-WWE at times. Not all of them, but some of them want to be anti-WWE. Now, the 14,000 fans, this is why I say AEW Dynamite has a better crowd base than WWE. And I truly believe that. It makes better TV. But the 14,000 are not always going to be your internet wrestling community. They're going to be about 7,000 of your internet wrestling community, and they're going to be about the Wave Princess. They're going to be about 7,000 who are like, hey, name a wrestling promotion. You just said it. WWE. Just say WWE. That's what you know. You know WWE, you don't know AEW, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, that she doesn't know. But the family will see that WWE is in town. They know WWE, and they're going to say, hey, honey, we have no plan to take the kids to. Let's go to WWE. And then they're going to go to Raw. They're going to go to SmackDown and say, I remember when The Rock used to. I remember when The Undertaker used to. I remember when Shawn Michaels used to. That's what's going to happen. I'm trying to tell you the difference. So you mentioned your 800,000 AEW Dynamite people. We're talking about the 2 million people for SmackDown who are watching each and every single week. It's no comparison. And it shouldn't, but at the same time, it shouldn't be. AEW is an upstart company, but sometimes I feel like their fans and them as a company want to be WWE, and they need to tone it down a notch. Tone it down a notch.
AEW does not want to be WWE. That's number one. Number two, WWE is fucking WWE, and they have been around for freaking decades. Yes, they first of all, they were in a different kind of arena than AEW was in. They were in a bigger arena, and yes, they had more fans. Number two, AEW has no problem selling out tickets. AEW has no problem selling out tickets.
Ever call anybody else Princess Excellence again. That is my daughters, my oldest and my youngest. Never make that joke again.
Damn.
Go ahead.
Up, Jeff. So when you say, oh, if you ask a person who watched wrestling from 20 years ago what promotion they know and they don't watch anymore, they're going to say WWE. Yeah, AEW did not exist. AEW has been around for less than, it's been 2 years? Yes, more people know WWE. Literally, when people think wrestling, they think WWE. It's synonymous with WWE. When people think social media, people still think Facebook. But it doesn't
cross-pollinate over very well. It doesn't cross-pollinate over very well.
So you're telling me that the elite who made a name for themselves in Japan didn't cross-pollinate and build AEW?
AEW, yes.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is that this is a fan base that they've built that is the reason that they're in business, the reason that they can exist in this space. They were able to get a TV deal with an unproven concept, because especially the times that they started their promotion, wrestling wasn't really hot. Wrestling hasn't been hot in a very long time. People cable stations weren't vying for has higher events than WWE. Has higher events.
That's real.
Arthur,
the show that you say you didn't want to go to, right? When I say, hey, I'm going to WWE SmackDown, you're like, well, I'm going to AEW, and I was going to go to AEW first, but then I said no, I'm going to SmackDown instead. I'm coming to New York for SmackDown, not the AEW bull crap.
Yeah.
It is doing better in the SmackDown as of right now. That is true.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, this is their, because I put things in context, right? This is their first New York show. I don't know why that is. Maybe they just couldn't get a venue because it is very expensive to run shows in New York, and even more so depending on the venue. But this is their first New York show. A lot of people want to go to it, and it's the end of the pandemic. People are clamoring to be able to go to wrestling shows. But either way, there's really no excuse because WWE has been around for so long that their tickets are selling way, way faster than SmackDown. Now, I think that SmackDown is a very, very good show. I don't really watch it, but when I have watched it, I enjoyed it. I think that Roman Reigns is probably the best champion in wrestling right now, and then Kenny Omega would be a second. But again, AEW as a promotion caters to its fans, and its fans are going to ride with them no matter what. Maybe I would enjoy going. Well, no, that's a lie. I wouldn't.
I'll explain that in a second.
I wouldn't enjoy going to SmackDown more because I don't really watch. So I wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
No, I wouldn't. Not a chance.
Yes, you would.
Not a chance.
I guarantee you would.
Not a chance.
I guarantee you would.
Not a chance. I've never even gotten to go to an AEW show before.
You want to bet?
Well, we can't because I can't. I'm not going to both. I refuse.
Why
I'm
can't
not
you go
going
to
to.
both?
I'm
It's
not going
where
to
you live.
SmackDown. I'm
It's
not
where
going
you
to
live.
SmackDown. I'm not going to. I don't really. I'll go to SummerSlam just because it's in Vegas and I'm going there anyway. So I'll go to SummerSlam with you guys. But I'm not
So
going. I'm not paying to go to
We'll talk
SmackDown.
about in Vegas and not on the air, but I think you'll do both. If I say I'm doing
I
both, you'll do
refuse.
both. If I say you do,
Bullshit.
no,
I'm
if I
not
do
going
both.
to SmackDown.
If I buy your SmackDown ticket, you take care of the AEW ticket. You do both.
Oh wait, you're paying for the ticket?
I'll pay for your SmackDown ticket if you go.
Oh, I'll go. Yeah.
Okay, fine. But we'll talk more about it in Vegas. Let's end that little part right there. And the reason I covered doing MSG is because of the significance beyond it. Because and this is actually something that Mark Victor Rodriguez brought to my attention. I didn't even pay attention to it. No disrespect to anybody, but it is the 20th anniversary of September 11th. So it makes sense for it to have it at MSG as opposed to the Barclays Center, which is also why it's expensive. Because I was trying to book a hotel today, and I was like, "Wow, $500 for the weekend? I don't want to do that." So I'll probably have to stay in Jersey, but that's fine. What else we got for AEW?
That was the main event. That was it.
I know it's the main event, but you want to talk about the elephant in the room? The elephant in the room. You want to talk about what you want to talk about in the chat?
There's an elephant here.
I mean, I don't know what you have in your house.
I don't know the elephant. I was trying to kill time actually because we sped through that because I let us through. Exactly. Nobody wants to see that shit.
Everybody wants to see it. Everybody wants to see what's going on. Who's on Raw? Who's on? Actually, we're making a change soon. I will definitely not. I definitely will not. No.
The fuck?
No, I definitely will not.
Are you shipping? Is this shipping culture? Let's get this out of here.
No, she better propose to me. All right, so here's the deal, right? I mean, that's the only way you'll get married. You have to get down on one knee. You have to acknowledge me. You have to acknowledge me.
You're not getting half of this stuff.
Not only the tribal chief, not only the head of the table, but your hero. And then I'll think about possibly accepting your proposal. Now, do you still have that picture of the tweet that happened to our very own Evil Dose?
I do.
I want people's opinion on this because this is there is no American New Jersey fan who doesn't already watch AEW. What do you mean by that?
Well, that's what. There's so many people in New York, New Jersey. Oh wait, he said American New Jersey, huh?
I don't understand, so I want more clarification on that. But speaking of Jeff Lippman, he actually got into a little bit of a soiree, from what I understand, on Twitter because of some comment he made about some NWA talent. You want to explain more about that, Sheriff, as you get it?
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the photo and
she's leading and she's doing such a great job. She has stuff ready. This is her show.
You didn't tell me that you wanted to talk about this, so. I
said, why not talk about it?
That was when I was talking to Jeff, not you. That was before you inserted
yourself in the chat.
That was before, but that was my context. That was when I was thinking Jeff was going to be here. Hey, and then unfortunately we had to settle for you. So Jeff Lippman,
please,
he responded.
More people are excited about this show because I'm one. Don't do that. I give great content and great counter arguments to your bullcrap.
It is good content. It's not good counter arguments, but it's good content. Tootie Lynn was announced for the.
This is why you never drink, Princess.
For the NWA Empower pay-per-view.
Messes up your brain. You start talking this nonsense like she is right now. It's fine.
This is slander, so I'm muting. Jeff Lippman responded to this, and he said, "No offense to her, but your first announced participant needed to be a big name, a shocker, like Tessa, Lita, Trish, or some other big name. Even Santana, Maria Manic, Ivelisse. I'm sure Miss Lynn is amazing, but the expectation was a big name." Now, needless to say, this did not go over very well. Mickie James herself responded to Jeff saying, "But that would have been easy and expected. I no longer do what's expected, so I stand by my decision. I believe she is the perfect first announced entrant. I believe at the Tootie Lynn will shine bright at Empower and beyond. But I do thank you for your valuable insight." You didn't ask for permission to use that screenshot, so I will be copywriting this video. Anyway, Tootie Lynn herself.
Part of your product. Like, what do you say? Look, this is it. I actually came prepared for you all fans. Bullshit. And I'm letting you know I want everybody to let Evil Dose know how wrong he is for making this comment. That's why a great legend, Mickey James, 6-time world champion, had to put Evil Dose in his place and let him know about himself for saying such hogwash. And you can now tell Jeff, you yourself, Sheriff, because I know you were upset. I know you were like, really like, what is this guy doing? So I want you to tell Jeff about himself right now. Go ahead and tell
Not
Jeff.
Really. I would rather.
There you go. Go ahead. I'm giving you the floor.
No. Do you have the Tootie Lynn screenshot?
Yes, right here, right in front of your face.
Okay, I'm gonna read this one as well.
Okay, well, I'll put myself back then.
Yeah, you jumped the gun a little bit. And she said, and that's what I love about NWA. The fact that they didn't announce a big name. They chose me. They're giving me an opportunity. Their plans are to give shots to women who've never gotten a chance. So excuse me for not being famous enough for your ass. Also, Tootie Lynn is a wrestler of color, a female wrestler of color. So a lot of people felt like giving her this opportunity was a good thing that NWA did as well. Now, to your point, exec, about me letting Jeff have it, Jeff is not here to defend himself, but I will go on the record to say that I didn't agree with the tweet that he said.
Hold on. Jeff is here. You didn't know that?
He's in the chat, though.
He's right here. He is right here.
Pardon me. Here he is.
It is I, Evil Dose, and I'm here for the great state of Malachi with aliens and monsters, and just letting you know that I don't understand what's going on, Sheriff. I heard you have some words for me.
I got a lot of words for you because you are in the wrong. You said that they should announce a big name instead of giving a chance to a young, up-and-coming female talent of color who is making a buzz on the independent scene. On top of that, even if you feel like the pay-per-view and the it's a battle royal or invitational, I blank off the top of my head. Even if you feel like there should be bigger names in the match, just because they announced her first does not mean there won't be other people named who will be in the caliber of talent that you think should be in it. They just announced her first. Now, his rationale is that they should lead with a big name because that's what's best for marketing, because then you draw enough buzz and the people who follow after can eat off of that, especially if who follows after is a bigger name. You just create more buzz. I understand that, but I don't think that is a strong enough point to shit on her moment like that. It's like when Kanye grabbed the mic from Taylor Swift. Even if you agreed Beyonce deserved the moment, you don't grab the mic and say that. Just let people have that. And that's what I have to say. What about you, exec?
I mean, I don't have anything to say. I think the person to say anything is Evil Dose. I'm right here when I took that footy pop from Rudy Huxtable. I asked him the question. I said, hey, name me 12 famous women from the Middle Ages, and they say Marie de France. And if they name Marie de France first instead of Joan of Arc, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't understand what's going on. But this is ridiculous. La Sicaria is calling me. I got business to do. I'll talk to y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Going back to Venus.
Well, you can't be Jeff because you didn't say #FireTaz. So
I don't. There's no more Taz. There's no more Taz. And you know what? I wasn't impersonating. I was over here talking to my lovely princess here. All I'm saying is I don't understand what's going on. The views and opinions of Jeff Lippman on Twitter do not represent the views and opinions of Unpopular Reviews. So please keep that in mind anytime Jeff says something to piss you off, because he does it to us every single day in the chat room.
It's true. Brother Man says good vibes, big facts.
All right. I don't have anything else. I don't know what. Oh, don't y'all do like top 5 factions on here or something? Like what?
We haven't done that in weeks, dude.
So what do y'all do?
Usually we end it after this.
What happened? What is this?
Dynamite Dark. Well, that's my segment. Which, by the way, we can do it. Yeah, we can do it.
All right.
So this is AEW Dynamite Dark Horse. Basically, and you can do it too as well, exec. Basically, what a dark horse is somebody who we thought shined on the show, but they didn't really get maybe the right spot on the card to where that would be highlighted maybe among the community or among AEW themselves. If I had to pick a dark horse this week, I would probably give it to Carl Anderson. because even though he lost, and he counts as a dark horse because he did lose, even though he was in a title match. He was in the first match. He did lose. I felt like it was kind of a coming out party for him as a singles guy, because I'm not that big on him as a singles guy because I didn't watch New Japan. But people who weren't really familiar with what he could do in the ring, I felt like he put on a really good performance. And I've said in the past that I wasn't that big on Carl Anderson, but he's kind of changed my mind the more that I research his background and things that he's done in the past. So I'm going to go with Carl Anderson. What about you, Exec?
I think when it comes to this segment, AEW Dark Horse, there's only one person I always come to mind. Like, they're on there and they have a presence. And they had one single moment here tonight on AEW Dynamite. And it was in a commercial for AEW Rampage. But it made me want to tune in on Friday starting August 13th. AEW Rampage immediately after SmackDown. And hopefully the star of the show is going to be my pick for the Dark Horse tonight, which is Jade Cargill. Look at her in all her finest. That should be your stepmom. Jade Cargill, right here on AEW every single week. If she was on Dynamite every week, I might actually join you before kicking you off this episode just to talk about Jade Cargill. So I just want to give a shout out to Jade Cargill. Daddy's coming home.
Shout out to Jade Cargill, indeed. Yeah, that I'm leading. So next segment is top 10 things we hate about Chris. Go ahead, Exec.
I hate the fact that Chris volunteered to be on AEW Dynamite tonight.
But you admit you volunteered.
I hate the fact that you sitting here lying to these people. I hate the fact that you AEW fans troll me every single day about AEW stuff. I hate the fact that my father bought my daughter a Redskins jersey or gave her a Redskins jersey. Yeah, I have children. Go figure.
I didn't know that either, but I didn't.
Yes, I have two daughters. I hate the fact that you are on this show with me talking that Waka Flocka nonsense. I hate the fact that Jeff is pissing off people on Twitter. I hate the fact that Jeff is even talking about anything on Twitter. I hate the fact that Caden is such an AEW fanboy. He's constantly giving them passes on everything, me and such a true AEW fanboy. I hate the fact that he gave David the Kool-Aid. Now David's becoming an AEW fanboy. And I hate the fact that New York is costing me $500 to go just to watch on SmackDown. There's 10 things I hate about Chris. Now you go.
Number one is
she hates the fact that Haver proposed.
Number one is the same as number two. Number two is the same as number three. Number three is the same as number four. Number four is the same as number five. Number five is the same as number six. Number six is the same as number seven. Number seven is the same as number eight. Number eight is the same as number nine. Number nine is the same as number 10. Number 10 is everything. And that is your AEW review show.
And this is exactly how I feel about that segment.
This was your AEW review show. Before we sign out, we can do one more segment where we rate how I did leading. And then the princess can give a rating as well.
Oh no, she's not allowed to talk on the show.
But she did multiple times. Oh, she's only allowed to talk if she's proving your point or some lack thereof. Her
name is Princess Excellence. She's always going to prove my point. But we're rating your performance leading tonight.
Dun, 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 dun. Aw, 0 out of 0. I knew I'd get a perfect score. This is great.
0 is a perfect score to you. I don't know what to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you join us every single Monday, 6 o'clock p.m. around the Blocks Wrestling Review Show. And then after Monday Night Raw, the Raw Review Show, starring who we just mentioned, Evil Dose, as well as a guest. Tuesday, we have the NXT show, which is with Captain Shakespeare, as well as Bad Guy Jack. And the next week is going to be on the UPRE side, The Lion King being reviewed. Then on Wednesday, right back here, we have AEW Dynamite with normally Big Daddy Cool, as well as the Sheriff. And then on Thursday, back to UPR side, we have School Days coming up next Thursday. And then Fridays, we have WWE SmackDown A show, review show. This week is going to be starring Mike Knox from Around the Blocks, as well as Bad Guy Jack.
Was that Gina?
What? Oh, yes. This is
Gina Arnold, yeah.
Yeah, this is Gina. This is Gina for Martin. She was in the movie School Days.
Didn't know that. Okay, cool. That was your AEW review show. I'm really, really sorry that you had to sit through that. But thank you for joining us, and join us next time. And if you like Tachina Arnold, watch School Days, whatever that is, so you can be a part of the review show.
You're too young.
Yeah, I think that's before my time. Okay.
along with actual jokes. All right, so you want to wrap us up?
She looks 28.
She looks 28, but no,
Who, me?
she's 18. You missed about 10 years.
I am not 18.
She
What
just
the
turned,
heck?
She just turned 18 last week.
Don't listen to him.
Is she your age? Is she your age?
She's not my age. No, she's not that wise.
Oh.
Okay.
We're gonna mute him. Thanks.